Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1711A, and today's date is November 8th, 2018, and the title of the episode is Enjoying the Economic Show. We are about to enter the finale. Now, before we get started, I wanted to talk about gold. Gold has been sought after, valuable, and highly regarded for thousands of years. Gold is still considered one of the safest investments on earth. Because of this stability, the IRS lets you use gold as part of your IRA or 401k rollover. Noble Gold are specialists in this type of product and have helped thousands of folks just like you to save for a happy and comfy retirement. If you would like to join them in that, call 877-646-5347 now and talk to the experts about how to get your gold IRA started, or go to noblegoldinvestments.com and start your investment in gold today. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we've been watching this gigantic show, and it's not just a show of the deep state. It's not just the show of the D class. It's the entire show. And again, I said this yesterday. The plan is not always perfect. Sometimes you have to make contingencies. Sometimes you have to prepare for the unexpected. Sometimes you have to deviate from what you think the plan is, but you always have plan A, B, C. And sometimes you have to go to D to reach that goal. And I think a lot of people understand who've lived through life that everything is not perfect, especially when you have the other side fighting against you. Think about it. Deep state fighting against you. You try to prepare for everything, but sometimes it's a little difficult. The central bank fighting against you. You try to prepare for everything, but sometimes it's a little difficult. You have to deviate from the plan. And what we're seeing right now is that we are watching an economic show. We're the audience. We are watching the central bank and the Trump administration, the Patriots, perform this show, this battle of who is going to win in the end. Now, the central bank, they've been in power for quite a while. This is going back thousands of years. This is not just here in the U.S. But in the U.S., they've been in power since 1913. We need to remember that there were two other central banks in the United States. Andrew Jackson ran on the platform of getting rid of the central bank. And we had no central bank until 1913. But the central bank's plan has always been the same. Put every single country into debt. Make them subservient to the central bank. Control them. Make them pass laws. Then push them into war and restart the entire system. We're at the end phase right now. And at this end phase, the central bank thought they had the upper hand. They thought that everything was going as planned. Now it's not. So even for the deep state, the central bank, they've always had to deviate from plans. But they've always tried to reach their goal. That means the central bank, those in the deep state, they're still not going to give up. But what we're watching right now is this gigantic show, this battle between these groups. And one of the groups is we the people. The other is the unelected officials. The central bank is an unelected official dictating to countries. So what's happening right now? Well, we're at the end stage. How do we know we're at the end stage? Because when we reach the end stage, the debt levels cannot be sustained. People cannot live on what they are making. There are no jobs. Wages flatline or decline. They might bump up a little bit, but that's short-lived. Then we see inflation, where the dollar loses its value and items, they're out of reach for many. And then as time goes on, many more. And to fight this, to hide this, what have corporations been doing? They've been shrinking items. They've been replacing ingredients, replacing a lot of the components of many different products to keep the price down. It's actually not keeping the price down. It's the value of the dollar that's losing its value. So you need more of them to purchase the same thing. So they go out and they purchase, less expensive ingredients, which cost less dollars. And that's how they're able to hide all of this. Or they shrink the packaging, which we've seen in ice cream, in crackers, and many other products. Right now, consumers, they are using plastic. They're using credit. Consumer debt has jumped to 4.9% in the third quarter compared to the third quarter last year. So it is up by $182 billion to almost $4 trillion. Why did they have to introduce credit? Why did they have to introduce car loans? Because as the dollar loses its value, this is the only way people can purchase items. Same thing with colleges, same thing with homes, and you have to then extend the terms, then you have to reduce the rates, then you have to say no down payment. Think about what's happening here. Think of an automobile. When automobiles first came out, really people bought them in cash. Then they moved to financing. When the dollar lost even more value, they moved to leasing. Now it's like shared renting. Well, if you only need the car on Tuesday and Wednesday, you only pay for that time. This is because the system is breaking down. It's not because it's improving. It's because it's breaking down. Now, consumer debt, it includes credit card debt, auto loans, and student loans, but it does not include mortgage-related debt. And we can see from 2008, where it was at $2.64 trillion, we are now at $3.93 trillion. What do you think this means for the everyday person? It means they're a slave to the credit card. If you take away the credit card, I would say the majority of the people will not be able to live. They would not be able to make ends meet. And they're barely doing it right now. On auto loans, we see leases on new and used vehicles. They jumped by $41 billion from a year ago, or they went up by 3.7% to a record $1.11 trillion. So if we look at debt, if we look at personal debt, auto debt, student loan debt, government debt, if you notice, all the debt's rising. It's not shrinking. And that means the system is coming to an end because all of this will not be sustained. All these people that are continually putting their purchases on credit, it's going to become very, very difficult. Now, this holiday season, they're going to make the claim that, oh, wow, look, sales are incredible. But think about what happened here. How did they have to make this happen? Well, they adjusted the FICO score. More people will get credit cards. And when they report sales are fantastic, no, that just means more people went into debt. I mean, they're feeling good. They think the economy is doing well. So they charge it thinking that times are going to get a lot better. Because now they just got a brand new credit card because their credit score is a lot better. But what they did was they just dug the hole a little bit deeper. So is everything a lot better? No, it just gets worse and worse. Actually, Americans, they're taking out roughly $50 billion in payday loans each year. Why are they doing this? Because people cannot make ends meet. They're unable to come up with cash to cover an unexpected financial emergency. And they're living paycheck to paycheck. And payday lenders, well, they're making a fortune off of this because of the interest and the fees and everything else. Actually, in the housing market, we see that there's a huge problem. And D.R. Horton, which is the largest U.S. home builder, they're out there saying that we're having a problem in new homes. Because of the rates, they're continually moving up. Because of the prices, people are shying away from buying a new home. And they're very worried about this because sales are going to decline. Actually, they've already started to decline. And Peter Schiff said something very interesting. He says that we don't have a booming economy. And of course, he's not the only one to notice. We all noticed this a while back because really nothing's really changed here. All they did was manipulate the numbers. This is all being done on purpose. I mean, think about what Trump said before he was president. He knew that these were all bubbles. So why now is he saying that the economy is doing fantastic using the same exact calculations and everything that Obama did? Because he's playing the game. It's a show. And if the economy was declining and he didn't manipulate anything and everything was falling apart, guess what? It would all be blamed on him. He turned the tables on them. So this way, when the system comes down, and of course this is why he's pointing the finger at the Fed, he's letting everyone know that the Fed is going to do this. He's changed the game. But this is a show. And Schiff says that jobs are just one more bubble that's about to burst. He said 200,000 jobs a month in an economy the size of ours, especially given how few people or what a large percentage of the workforce is not working, we should be creating a lot more than 200,000 jobs per month. But we're not. Even though wages are rising for people that have jobs, the cost of living is rising faster. But the cost of servicing their debt is rising even faster than that. And as far as the job growth goes, the mainstream keeps pointing to it as a sign of a booming economy. But as Peter points out, we're borrowing a tremendous amount of money to get this jobs growth. And this has been going on for quite a while. Now, the whole plan is to gradually raise the interest rates. Now, things have changed since Trump came into office. The Fed, which was controlled by the deep state at the time, they were planning to do this and use this against Trump. This is why they started raising the rates right before Trump came into office and right after he got into office, because they were ready to push their agenda. They wanted him to be in office for a year and a half, and this way he can say, this is my economy. It's not doing well, but it's going to do a lot better. The Fed was going to be raising rates. The economy was going to be deteriorating at the same time. They were going to be able to blame it all on him. He switched the tables. He switched everything around. Now the Fed is raising rates and the economy is getting better. Trump is pointing to the Fed, saying that they'll be responsible if the economy implodes. Telling us that I wouldn't raise rates the way the Fed is right now. It makes no sense. So he knows exactly what is happening here. And he's preparing the narrative. And we've been talking about this for quite a while. Actually, the Fed had their meeting today. And guess what? Everything is still on track. Yes, we're going to raise the rates gradually, and we're going to do it throughout next year. Now, remember, when we hit a certain point, and everyone's saying this magic number is around 3%, most likely we're going to hit this in the middle of 2019. This is when everything starts to really, really fall apart. We're seeing it now, but it's going to get a lot worse. Once we hit that magic number, we're going to see everything start to fall apart. Now, is it going to happen exactly on that date? No. But once that does happen, everything will accelerate. Just like we saw back in 2006 going into 2007, they hit the magic number, and then boom, they dropped the rates like an elevator falling down the shaft. The same thing's going to happen now. But are they going to drop the rates once again? Maybe, maybe not. Because the whole push is to really bring down this entire system. That's the real push. And we're going to be entering the finale right now, because we're headed towards the end of this year and we're heading into 2019. And you're going to see Trump out there continually blaming the Fed for what is about to happen. Well, the economy's doing fantastic right now. The Fed just raised the rates again, and look what's happening. It's their fault. They're the ones who are doing it. And we're going to see this happen time and time again until eventually Trump comes out and says, it's the Fed's fault. Everything was going perfectly until they started pushing their policy against my policy, where the economy was doing fantastically and the Fed made it implode. So who's responsible here? The Fed. Let's take a look at what the Fed has been doing. And that is the plan. Now, before I forget, don't forget to follow me on Minds. That is Minds.com. It is free to join, and actually by commenting and posting, you will earn cryptocurrency. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.